So Marvel Rivals has the potential to be one of the best games on the planet. But one of the biggest things that's holding the game back is not the matchmaking, it's not placement matches, it's not anything else. It's the player base. And I've tried as hard as I can to lead by example and show you all how to be a bit more selfless, but that doesn't seem to be working. So now it's time for a crash out. YouTube, what's going on, man? It's Father Dark. I'm here on a Wednesday afternoon. Hope everybody's having a great week. Hump day, getting closer to Friday. But there is something that we need to talk about. A lot of my videos, I've tried as hard as I can to sit here and talk to the community. I have faith in the community, but at the same time, though, it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. I've made so many videos talking about one of the biggest problems in this community, which is people not being able to flex, people picking a role or a character and sticking to that, making it their whole entire identity, acting as if they're incapable of switching to any other role. Now, like I was saying before, one of the biggest issues that we have in this game is that the community is just so fixed on the idea that it's okay to just play one role and never learn how to flex. And something that I've constantly went back to over and over again is being able to think like others, put yourself in other people's positions and just look at stuff from a bigger point of view. So if you think about this, right, and you think you have the mindset that a lot of other people have where they say, oh, well, I'm just going to play this one role and that's going to be it. And I'm going to allow everybody else on my team to just figure it out. And if I load in immediately to the game, I'm going to just instantly lock this character and I'm not going to swap and I'm just going to let everyone else figure it out, right? When you do that, you have to think about this, right? What if everyone else has that same exact mindset? What if people just start loading into the game and they say, hey, listen, today I'm not going to sit here and flex. I'm not going to play this role that no one else wants to play. I'm going to play the thing that I want to play. Well, now you have a team filled with nothing but DPS. And who is that going to benefit? And the thing is, too, is that a lot of you like to sit here and say that you can play other roles, but that's cap, though. We know you can't play other roles. At the beginning of season 4, or toward the end of season 3, I decided, you know what, I've been flexing in this game since it came out. This game is coming up on in a couple of months, being out for a whole entire year. And this issue is something that I thought over time would kind of go away because people would eventually kind of start to understand that this is a team-based game and that you need people to play each role efficiently. A lot of people have got it in their heads that there are certain roles that are just easier than other roles, which just isn't true. We've done the which role is the most important, et cetera, and people really sit back and they talk about this like it's a real thing, okay? You know what that's the equivalent of? That's the equivalent of saying, like, what's the most important thing in my car? There is nothing that's the most important thing in your car. Take one thing out of your car and see how well it runs. Take the tires off and see if the car still drives. Take the engine out, see if it still works. Take the transmission out. Take all the fuel out of it, take all the oil out of it, and see how well your car runs. Everything has to work together or else it won't work. You don't even have to take these things out. Just make it to where they don't run as well as they should. And you know what's going to happen? Your car is going to be broke down on the side of the road. The car is an analogy for the team, okay? If you have supports that aren't supporting, let me know how that works out for you. You got DPS that aren't DPSing, let me know how that works out for you. You got tanks that aren't creating space, what do you think is going to happen? And like I was saying before, toward the end of season 3, like I said, I've been flexing since the game came out, right? And I said, you know what? The one role that I don't ever get to play, and it's my weakest role because I don't ever get to play it, is DPS. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start insta-locking DPS, and I'm going to refuse to switch to any other role except DPS. I'm going to let the tanks figure it out. I'm going to let the supports figure it out. And you know what I realized in that period of time? The majority of you have no idea how to play support, and you also have no idea how to tank either. You got tanks that are hiding behind supports that have zero understanding of how to make space. You have supports that have absolutely zero game sense or awareness or have any idea how to defend themselves. They act like all they know how to do is just throw a couple of heals down the lane and get dove and say, hey, peel for me, do this, help me, I'm completely defenseless. When the majority of supports are actually broken out here compared to other games. When I went on my DPS villain arc, which you guys can go back if you want to and look at the videos from last month or however long ago it was, I had zero issues staying alive. I have zero. I can pick characters like Iron Man, Spider-Man, different characters that are capable of staying alive by getting health packs or whatever and aren't necessarily dependent upon the team to heal them to be effective. But a lot of people have told themselves a lie. And the lie is that healing is some easy thing to do in the game. The tanking is some easy thing to do in the game. Now I know there's some people that they feel differently about it. They think that tanking is a specialized thing, and that's why a lot of people actually don't choose the role. And I do feel like tanking is a big deal, but at the same time, this is where the problem comes in. At is people trying to sit here and debate which role is more important or which role is easier. I've heard other people say before, like, oh, when someone's like new to the game, what role would you want them to play the most? And a lot of people will sit back and they'll say, well, support. But the problem with that is that supports a lot of times can carry games. And when I say carry games, I don't mean carry games the way I mean like a tank or a DPS does. I mean, when you have bad supports, you know you have bad supports. If you have someone that is constantly dying because their positioning is terrible, you're gonna feel that. If you have supports that are ulting at the wrong time, dying during their ults, and you're going against a team of people that are ulting correctly, you're gonna feel that. What is one of the biggest things people say in this game? Oh, we lost because GG no heals. Well, if your role was so important, why couldn't you do it without heals? Oh, you know why? Because it's a team-based game. That's why. So this BS that people have about, oh, well, this role is more important, or I'm carrying with this role or whatever. I don't care how good you are on DPS. If you're not being healed, you're gonna get absolutely slapped in the game. That's just all there is to it. So you can cut all the BS out about like, oh, well, I don't have to play this role because this role is beneath me or whatever the case is. There should be no role that's beneath you. What is this? What is it with this ego and pride that people have where it's like, oh, well, this is like, a role that's for women or something is to heal. And even so, first of all, that is crazy to me because there's a lot of women out here that are 10 times better than the average guy that's walking around. I know this because we have them in our Discord server. And it's the same thing with the tanks. Now, the reason why people don't play tank is a bit different because you have to actually be on the front lines, and a lot more people are afraid of that, and they won't really admit it. But, going back to what I was saying before, this idea of, like, I'm just going to learn only DPS characters, it's just insane to me. And then when it comes time for you to play anything else, you have no idea what you're doing, and the team crumbles. And then you got these goofies that, because the match isn't going the way that they want to immediately, they weren't able to get the role that they wanted, they just immediately surrender. And another thing, too, while I'm thinking about it, what is it with people that have this like, well, this is a no-skilled character? If the character is effective, why are you not using them? There are so many people that have this like stigma toward characters like Cloak and Dagger or Scarlet Witch or different characters that they feel like don't require as much skill as another character, like a Hela or something like that. You got people out here that will pick Luna Snow, knowing good and damn well you cannot aim for aim is absolutely dog water. Terrible. Yet you pick Luna Snow over characters like a Rocket or a Cloak and Dagger or something like that would allow you to have more heals and be more useful to your team. But because of your pride, you're like, let me pick Luna Snow and sit here and miss like 87% of my shots. Which in this case, the shots are your heals, which your team is depending on to stay alive. You got tanks out here who have never played support, so they don't understand that supports don't just infinitely have heals. At some point, they got to reload. At some point, they have cooldowns. At some point, they might be getting dove. Because when you're a support, that's just what people do. They try to get you out of the game. Tanks, do you all not know what like natural cover is? If you're playing Thor or Thing, do you really think maybe you should be running just head first into the enemy team? You ever think to yourself, maybe that wasn't the brightest idea? Maybe you should just use a little bit of natural cover, kind of like in real life. If rounds were flying, would you just be standing in the middle of the street, or would you get behind a car or something? I don't get it, man. It's like people are always trying to tell me like, oh man, I'm getting so good at Magic, or I'm getting so good at BP. Or brother, what do your heals look like? What is your heal game looking like? Oh, well, no, I'm going to just leave that to such and such. Okay, so what if everybody thinks like that? What if we all just said, I'm going to leave this to somebody else? Like I said, when I started insta-locking DPS, I saw a completely different side of the community. Most of the people that were forced to play heal, because that's the thing, they were forced to do it. They didn't want to do it. And I'm not saying that you should have to want to do something, but you should at least know how to do it. You got people who've been playing this game since release, don't have a single lorded healer. And the thing is, too, is that I understand that doesn't really mean anything because I've met a lot. Recently, I've been meeting a lot of people that are Lord, especially since the season reset on different characters. And that means absolutely nothing. It's all up to the player. There are people that only play one character, but they play that character incorrectly every day, versus someone that picks it up and immediately learns the correct way to play it and will dumpster on you with maybe like an hour and a half of playtime on that character. It's happened numerous times. Prior to me getting Thor Lord, I used to see other Thors that were Lord, and I'd go, oh man, this guy's probably going to be really good. He's Lord. And absolutely dumpster on these people. Had a match the other day with a Scarlet Witch. She was a Lord Scarlet Witch. I checked her stats after the game. That's pretty much all she plays is Scarlet Witch. Absolutely dumpstered on. And that's the problem that I have with people that sit back and they say, oh, well, this character takes no skill or whatever. Then why do other people get diffed on characters then by better players if the character doesn't take any skill? See, a character might be easily accessible. And that's kind of like relating back to the whole healer situation. People will look at healers and they'll say, oh, well, all you got to do is just spam the heals at people. No, brother, there is so much more to it than that. So much more to it than that. I dropped 50 eliminations yesterday in a double overtime game, which I think this is actually a game that I'm probably going to have playing in the background while this is going on. That was more than one of the DPS, and I'm pretty sure one of the tanks. Twice as much as the enemy. Didn't even have to put out as much healing. There are levels to this. There are so many different ways that you can go about things. And so many people think that certain roles are boring. That's because that's what someone's told you and you followed along with that, or that's because that's the mindset that you have. And you think that you're just going to keep sitting here playing this slot machine simulator in regards to the matchmaking. And people sit back and they say, oh, well, my healers didn't do this. Oh, well, my tanks aren't out here making enough space. Brother, learn how to play a different role. Then maybe you won't have to worry about it. Be the change that you want to see in the world. And what's crazy about it all, what's so crazy about this, right, is you would think, right, without understanding this game, if you were just listening to me rant about it, you would think that, oh, well, if these people have been playing an insta-locking DPS since the games came out, they must be amazing at that role, right? No, the majority of you are absolutely terrible at DPS, and it's all you play. You should be ashamed of yourself. How do you look in the mirror and be okay with yourself knowing every single day you load in this game, insta-lock DPS, and you're still dog? The role that you said was so easy, a role that their primary focus should be healing you, is out here out DPSing you. And you got the audacity to be mad and go, yo, why are you DPSing, Cloak? Brother, because you ain't killing nothing. That's why. Somebody's got to do it. So not only do I got to do my job, which is support you all, keep you up like a little babysitter or something, just, making sure all the kids are okay, but I got to sit out here and do your job as well. At what point is the community going to wake up and go, hey, you know what? Maybe there's more to this game than DPS characters. And the thing is, too, is that we have to put a little bit of blame on NetEase, because for some reason they thought it was a good idea to sit here and go, yo, listen, let's make 3 times the amount of DPS as there are tanks and supports. If you would put all the tanks and supports in the game together, you still wouldn't have as many as there are DPS. And they're giving us whole seasons where we're getting double DPS. Are we getting double tanks? Are we getting double supports? Now, the thing is we may. I'm making a video soon about Daredevil and my thoughts on him and why he might be some type of tank, whether it's a hybrid or just a full-on tank. And who knows, maybe next season we might get double supports. But I ain't seen that yet, so right now, I'm calling NetEase out. Y'all part of the problem. Because who exactly looked at the lineup for this game and was like, yeah, in a team-based game where you need people to play all roles, that's what we should do. We should make the other 2 roles that exist out of the 3 not be as interesting as DPS. Let's just add a bunch of really cool DPS in here and then be confused as to why people only want to play DPS. And then what's funny about it is that I'm against role queue personally, simply because I enjoy the freedom to be able to switch during matches if need be. But the problem is that I fully understand why people think that there should be role queue. But a lot of the people that are asking for role queue are people that insta-lock DPS. They just want to be able to insta-lock DPS all day long and load into matches and think this is sweet. And you know what's going to happen then when that happens? All of you are going to have to wait like an hour to get into a match, just like Overwatch. Because that was the same problem that I had when I played that game. Whenever I played Overwatch, I would spend so much time, 15 to 20 minutes, waiting for a match. Not just because there was a low player base, but because the majority of people were probably insta-locking DPS in that game as well. I would spend more time in the little, not practice range, but the little, pre-game thing that they have or whatever for Overwatch. I would spend more time in that than the actual match. You spend 20 minutes waiting for a match just for the match to be 5, maybe 10 minutes at the longest. And you know what happens when we get there? Nobody wants to play the game anymore. You already have so many people that have stopped playing this game because of that, because people didn't want to swap and play other roles, because people couldn't be honest with themselves and say, listen, I'm 3-17 as Iron Fist. Maybe, just maybe, crazy thought, maybe I should hop my goof off of Iron Fist. You got people that load into rank first day of the season when a new character drops, knowing good and damn well they have no idea how to use this character. Load into a ranked match. Just out here selling for free people's SR, which is crazy to me. We've been having this problem in my server lately. People love to come in there and they love to play customs, which if you're not part of the server and you're somebody who does know how to play tank or support, I would definitely recommend you come and join, because it seems like it's something that's needed in there. You got a lot of people that, just like in the game, they only want to insta-lock DPS. They want to come in, they want to play customs, but to them it's like, well, I want to have fun. And by having fun, that to them that means I want to insta-lock DPS. Oh, we got these handful of people in here that can heal really good, or people that can tank really good. That's just what they're going to do. And you know, because it's not me, these aren't real people, and they don't have feelings and emotions. So they're just going to be perfectly fine with just tanking and DPSing all the time. And you know what happens? These people start to want to play customs less and less. Or this person says one day, hey, you know what? Today I'm going to play DPS. And you know what happens? The people that are insta-locking it every single day, just like I said before, they get on heals. They have no idea how to heal. They think it's just as simple as just sitting there, just holding a button down, only to get dove one time by Iron Fist or a Black Panther, and everybody wants to rage quit. Now everybody's mad. Now everybody's going back and forth and arguing and stuff like that. So I see this stuff on a more intimate level, and I see it overall with the community. And I still have faith in the community. I think every now and again, though, it's good to have these little talks and tell you all about yourself, because I think people just do not realize that. And it comes down to a blame game, where it's like, oh, well, you know, this wouldn't have happened if this was this way or this was that way. No, not everybody's going to be as strong at a certain role naturally. I could let everybody in the game can start flexing right now. And there's still going to be people who are better at tanking, people who are better at DPSing, and people who are better at support. And every match is going to change. Every match is different. There's been a lot of times where I started out and I was playing support. I noticed the tanks were struggling. I said, hey, switch with me. I'll go tank. Immediately the match turned and we won. Same thing with DPS. Happens all the time. You get this person that's playing DPS and you go, hey, listen, why don't you go tank or whatever? I'm going to swap to DPS and I'm going to handle this issue, whether it's flyers or whatever the case is. I'm going to take care of this for us or whatever, right? You end up winning. And this is one of the biggest reasons why I don't want role queue, because when you have role queue, you just get stuck with those situations. But at the same time, though, it doesn't really account for the matches that you load into and you have these people that are petty and they refuse to swap out of their roles. And they're willing to sell the game for their pride because their feelings might get hurt that, you know, they've been told that DPS is the most important role and the most mechanically challenging role, and they weren't able to do it. When at the end of the day, that's like the dumbest I've ever heard. Why are we sitting here boosting up other roles over other ones and making people feel like there's certain things that are more important? It's kind of like that thing that people say, and it just, this has always irritated me. When people use like an example, they'll say, well, if your grandmother just started playing video games and you wanted to play Marvel Rivals with her, what role would you want her to be on? And a lot of people always say like, oh, put her on heals. The thing is, man, is that if you're going against a team of people that know how to heal, they know how to DPS, they know how to tank, there is no role that you're going to be able to put your grandmother on if she's terrible at video games to where you're gonna have a good outcome. That's BS and it's bogus. If your healer can't stay alive, if your healer doesn't understand their cooldowns, that they're not using their ult at the right time, you are going to get dumpstered on. It's just that simple. If the DPS aren't deleting anybody, it's really hard to come back from that. If you got a tank that refuses to move forward because he's scared, he takes a little bit of damage and then just tries to run back, what are we really doing here? Learn how to flex, y'all. Learn how to play other roles, man. Step outside of your comfort zone. Jump into quick play. Play new characters. Learn them. And not just a little bit to where you say like, yo, I got 7K heals over the span of like 15 minutes. I just did something right. No, brother. You should have that in like the first 5 minutes. Really learn this character. Stop sitting here talking about, oh, well, you know, that's not fun to me. Nobody cares what's fun to you, man. If you want to have fun, go play something that ain't team-based. But that's all I got for this video, though. That was my little rant for the day. I just feel like it needed to be said. I haven't talked about it in a while, but I'm really getting irritated with this community because, I mean, man, like I said, we're going on almost a year, this game being out here pretty soon. Like next month or the month after, whenever it is exactly. I think it was, November? So yeah, like 2 months around the corner. We're coming up on the 1 year anniversary of this game. And people are still having issues and problems that should have been done with months ago. I understand when a game first comes out, it kind of has its growing pains and the learning curve that a lot of people have to have with it. But at this point, we shouldn't be having these same issues, everybody. I mean, this is just ridiculous, man. I mean, come on, what are we doing? But like I said, though, I'm going to wrap it up, though. But let me know in the comments what you all think. Do you think that the community has gotten better? Do you think that they have the potential to get better with stuff like this? Is this something that you're still dealing with? Is it not? And the thing is, too, I want to add as well to the people that are still listening. I know that the higher you go up in ranks, that this isn't an issue you deal with. But this is something that I'm talking to like the 70, 80% of the player base that still thinks it's okay to load in and pretty much be a one trick or one trick in regards to a role or something like that. But like I said, though, just let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on this. I am always really curious to hear what everybody thinks about it. Another thing I wanted to add, too, before I was going to do this video today, I was actually going to do Lausa Explain. Lausa is the baby that we see Iron Fist protecting in the trailer for the new Kunlun map or whatever that releases on September 25th. Now, like I said, I was going to release that video originally, but after some talks that I had with some people yesterday in our server and just, me thinking about a period from playing rank over the last couple of days, I decided to go ahead and do this video first. But if that is a video that you all are interested in and understanding who Lausa is and how she's important to the story for Marvel Rivals, let me know down in the comments. If you guys aren't interested in that video, I'm just going to scrap that and get to some other more relevant stuff because I do think there's some more interesting things that are going on and some theories that I have about Daredevil and some other stuff. But just let me know what kind of videos you guys want to see for the rest of the week, and I'll go ahead and get to working on those. But like I said, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. I'm Father Dark. I do appreciate you all for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.